what supportive role can the UAE play in this particular instance? Why should African parties and other investors consider your jurisdiction as an alternative seat?
Well, obviously, I feel, in a sense, was slightly embarrassed because you want to grow your own jurisdiction. So I'm trying to sell an alternative jurisdiction. But in favor of my own jurisdiction, let me tell you, first of all, international relations are way above my pay grade. So, but I mean, generally, I will say that Dubai and the UAE is a welcoming place, more welcoming, I think, than many European seats for the reasons that Sami gave, and I've experienced that sitting as an arbitrator in London, not being able to have witnesses attend because of visa issues, which is extremely annoying. Other seats, we've had problems bringing in recording equipment. Again, I think Sami nodding. I mean, we've experienced that within the Manassa region, particularly where customs hold up recording equipment for weeks on end. So you have a very, very supportive regime here, particularly in the DIFC. I think one of the questions we discussed is what does the DIFC do about setting aside awards? The DIFC court has never in 20 years set aside an award. It once adjourned enforcement because of challenge proceedings elsewhere, but that's it. But if you want to bring an award here, it's registered ex parte to become a judgment, and then it has to be challenged after that. So you have very, very quick registration of awards, and then, of course, the whole machinery of the reciprocal enforcement that our court has with other courts in the region and other courts elsewhere in the world. You know, I would say it's generally subject, of course, to the travel ban you mentioned, which I wasn't aware of. It's lifted, thank you. It's generally a sympathetic place to bring your arbitrations, and as been said, we have the expertise and the support of the courts. I'm slightly torn too, particularly in relation to African matters, and I see my very dear friend Gillette Dab over there. In terms of francophone arbitrations, and Sami, because I have to say, sit on the court of the Casablanca International Mediation and Arbitration Center, and it is possible to argue, if I put it no higher than that possibly in terms of francophone arbitrations, there are other seats which are better because we are fundamentally an English-speaking, Arabic and English-speaking jurisdiction, but the courts are English-speaking. And so another thing that, you know, an African arbitration practitioner may consider is whether there are actually in North Africa emerging jurisdictions which are beginning to develop in the same way that the UAE has developed.